sit. We're going to show you this little exercise we've been doing with Peanut. When you're doing this mat exercise, always make sure that he's sitting. You walk him up to the mat, just the way I just did. You have him sit. The leash is always loose, and if he tries to run and jump on the mat early, you just tap it and he'll go right back. But this is very, it's very non-physical in the sense that there's no corrections, there's no tight leash, you're not restraining him. It's really about being gentle and not physically restraining him much at all. Just a little tap and he'll go back to that sitting position. He waits until you tap his chest and say, go to your mat. You walk over with him and you say, down. And so the exercise starts this way. Sometimes he goes down a little bit slower than others. So what we've been doing is I've been simulating, I'm going to get him farther back on the mat so he's not hanging off the mat. Here you go, buddy, down. Good. So what we're doing is we're trying to simulate what is probably happening at your house with children and all the hyperactivity that happens, all the activity in general with little kids running around, playing, all that kind of stuff, excitedness. And we're trying to simulate it here. We don't have little kids, but we're going to do our best. So you guys start walking around in different directions, opposite ways. So that means one of you is going to go this way, the other goes the other. Opposite ways. There you go. And then we're just going to start this by you sort of like running and then stopping, or, you know, making fast movements or something like that. So go ahead, you guys can start doing that now. Yeah, like that. And the way I'm doing this exercise is he puts up with this, he gets a reward. And the reason that we're doing it good like this is that we're desensitizing him to sudden activity. We're desensitizing him to a lot of movements, and no matter what he does, he knows that his job is to stay there. And if he stays there, something good happens. He gets paid for this kind of behavior. See how I'm rewarding him? See how I make him wait? He's still waiting. Good. I set it there and I withdraw and he takes it off the mat. You guys keep doing it. And if you want to wave your arms too as well, that's good. Wave your arms around. Just do crazy stuff. Not that you're going to do this. Good. Not that you're going to do this at home, although it would be a great exercise for you to do. I just want to show you that you can do these types of things, and when you release him out of this downstay, he's a little bit quieter, a little bit calmer. He can handle a little bit more because of these types of exercises we're doing. Now, so you can stop that now. I think we proved our point. Just stand here, okay? You guys just stand there. I'm going to come and go from a few different doorways and gates. So if you're going to do something that's difficult for him to handle, you can just remind him what to keep doing. I'm going to say down, and I'm going to leave through this gate. And it's okay if he looks where you're going as long as he doesn't turn his body. So I'm going to leave through this gate and then come back. So it's a big trigger for dogs when you're in a room or in a yard and then you leave. So see what happens when, and if he's been on the mat a little bit too long, maybe you have to go back, sort of like do this. Pick up the leash. Okay, and we're just going to reset him. He's a very happy, exuberant dog, as you already know. So we're going to just reset him and put him back on the mat. And see exactly how I did that? Sit. Go to your mat. Down. You start all over. And I'm going to start him off with a reward for going back to the mat. But you see how the delivery is slow and calm? Make sure that he really waits like this. Good, until you withdraw. It takes a lot of focus and concentration for the dog to do that. And self-control. And that's what we're trying to build up in him, is self-control. So now I'm going to go through the front door here and leave. And come back and reward. So I'm hitting him from all angles. I'm leaving from all different directions. Good, and coming back. I'm going to go through this gate. Just show me briefly going through, and then as like with the front door, show the dog as I leave. Show Peanut. And show what he's doing. So I close that gate, disappeared, coming back out. He's having a little bit of trouble focusing with all this going on, but he's still in a downstay. He gets a reward. Good. And then before we're finished, we'll just try a couple other little things. Like sometimes he's triggered to pop up when you pull on a leash. So if you do that and he does get up, you say no. And you just gently but firmly put him back. I didn't even have to apply any pressure. I just put my foot there and he went back. So that time he stayed there and he gets paid. So you see how this works? You try something, good. You try something that might trigger him to pop up. He succeeds, he gets paid. If he pops up from whatever you did, you gently but firmly reset him, put him back, try again. He has a success, he gets paid. And that's why most times he just does exactly what he's supposed to do, and he stays in a down state no matter what, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, no matter what happens around, and I come back and I pay him for that bit of behavior of staying in a down state on that mat no matter what. And I just walked around both ways, which is kind of the way you start these exercises. Good. I'm also ending it that way. And then I'm taking him off the mat by coming back next to him. This is the only way he leaves out of a down state. You come back to get him, you say, okay, sit, have him sit, and then go, and he's free. Now he's on free time. You pick up that mat and put it away because he only goes on that mat with your permission. He only comes off that mat with your permission. It's a very powerful exercise, and he doesn't know the camera person, so he's curious about her. But if you ever have him, he lost his curiosity pretty quickly there. If you ever have him staring at somebody that came into your house or on the street or something like that, come, call him back to you. Good boy. He responds to the recall command very well, of course. But this exercise on the mat is very powerful because the mat and whatever you choose to use as the mat, it could be a bath mat, it doesn't have to be one of these dog training mats, just whatever I can suggest if you have other things you want to use and not this dog training mat. But let's say it's a bath mat, just make sure it has a rubberized bottom so you can use it on slick floors so it doesn't scrunch up when you send him to it. It's got to have a rubberized bottom and doesn't slide around. And he's allowed to go on it just exactly the way I showed you. He's allowed to come off of it, all orchestrated by you only. And there's only one behavior that's exhibited on the mat, and that's this calm down state no matter what happens around him. So when every day you practice something like this, he's just able, as time goes on, to handle more and more stress before he loses it, so to speak. Whatever he was doing at your house, I know he was being a little bit aggressive with strangers that would come in the house, or people, even probably people that he knew, but he was guarding your children and your space. So this will really help with just stabilizing him and giving him a much higher level of focus, which is going to help your project there with him not hitting the breaking point, so to speak. And also all these other things you're going to see on the video we're doing as well. So like with the greeting routine and things like that, you have to do those things as well to continue on what we've started here and what you see. And you'll see all the people that he knows here now. And that's how we got him to be friendly with people and to accept people coming in, is by doing all of these things. This mat, it may seem like it's not part of, like it wouldn't be a part of the solution for your main problem, but it is, because it helps him stay calm longer and stay self-controlled, and therefore if he feels threatened or wanting to protect you from somebody that comes onto your property, it's like a fuse. His fuse gets a little longer all the time. So, whereas before you might have only had 20 seconds before he lunged at somebody or whatever the situation was, now you're going to have 60 seconds. You're going to have longer. And you also have the recall as well to call him back away from and out of that situation if you see something's in the works with him. So this is a very valuable thing to keep practicing. Okay. Now we're going to show you the greeting routine that I practice quite a lot with Peanut, and I've introduced him to a lot of people this way. The best way to do this is to meet the people definitely outside of your house. In front of your house, it's a more neutral area. It's much more open. Both of those things will make him feel less threatened. It's way better than having somebody walk through that front door and being inside of his realm, so to speak, inside the house. It's closed in. He's way more likely to be apprehensive and guard. If your kids are there especially, or that space inside that he perceives as his domain and he's in charge of protecting it. So you always want to have him be introduced to people on more neutral territory, especially the first few times while he's getting to know them, and in a more open space. So this is right in front of my house, which is what I suggest you do. Even if it's in your driveway or your front yard, it's way better than doing it inside. So, okay, we're gonna walk him up to sit, to a couple of people here. So I have him sit. I step over, I give the visitors a little treat. And these are high value rewards, little organic turkey hot dogs are what I'm using today. And he waited till I came back. All you guys are gonna do is let him accept the gift out of your hand. You don't pet him yet. I'm gonna call him back to come to me after that. So I'm gonna say, go say hi. He goes over there, he accepts treats from the visitors. Come, you use your recall to call him back. Good, you have a treat as well. Step into him, have him sit. And just for the video, I'm gonna do it 3 times. But after you've done this for a while with multiple people, you can just do it 3 times, just really quick. It's just a real quick thing, and he'll know that these people are okay. Go say hi. Treats. Come. Good. It's such a valuable exercise to practice. Sit, because first of all, we're introducing him in the way that it should be done, where he's approaching them. They're not approaching him with a hand or whatever, like so many people might do. When a dog is insecure or protective, the worst thing to do is to have a stranger or somebody that he's not comfortable with approach him. So you always make sure that your visitors wait there, they got the treat, you send him over to them, go say hi, and of course, since he knows this routine so well, come. He knows exactly how it's going to go because we've practiced it many dozens of times at this point. Sit. And now from here, to get him comfortable with people in your house, you're going to give your visitor or visitors one more big handful of treats, and then, okay, keep filming. You're going to walk in front of me, and we're going to go in the house. I'm going to follow you in there, and we're going to walk inside. This is what you want to do. Obviously, humans are the same way. You don't want a stranger or somebody you're not sure of following you. So you need to keep his eye contact, and stop there, guys. Sit, because we're going to continue just walking in. Okay, because he never takes his eyes off of them, and then we're going to go in the house, and we'll show you what we're doing in there. We did the greeting routine out on the street. We followed our visitors through the gateway. Now we're going to go into this house here. Okay, and you're going to follow us in and show you how I'm doing the greeting routine in the house now. Sit. We're in the house. My visitors already have the treats. Can you see everything okay? You can come even closer. Go say hi. You send him over to the people when they're in the house. Say, come. Good. We do it again. We do the greeting routine in here. It's a very small house here and very cramped. Okay, buddy. Come on, buddy. Sit, go. Another treat. That was my last treat. And then what we're going to do is then, once we have this positive introduction and he's doing well and he's not protective and he's feeling confident about all of this and good about our visitors because, hey, these people showed up giving treats. Didn't try to touch him, didn't spook him or anything like that. We're going to put him away while he's doing really well. We're going to give him his favorite bone to chew on and even a couple of treats as we close the crate door, and then that will go a long way to start changing his perception of what it means to have people coming over to visit. Now you're going to have to do this multiple times because you have to undo his previous perception of people coming by, which is not good, as you told me. So we're really creating a new reality for Peanut, where as many times as possible you do it this way, the key is you end on a success. You end while he's doing well. You don't let him hang out for 10 or 15 minutes while the person's just walking around and he's loose, because it'll all fall apart in the beginning. Gradually, you let him be out a little bit more each time, but always on a leash, always ready to call him to come to you. But first, I'd like you to do a dozen of these with different people. The next 12 people that come by, do exactly the way that we explained it here on the video. And then while he's still happy and he just got a treat from that person, he goes in the other room, goes in his crate. He's got something great in there to chew on as well that you know he loves. And so you're creating a really good new perception of what it means to have somebody come over. And then over time, gradually let him stay out longer and longer. We can talk about that in person when we're doing the lessons at your house later, because it's different with every dog, and it depends on how he's doing with these initial greetings at your house. So it's always going to be different, and we'll discover what else we have to do once he goes back to your house and see how he's doing there. Okay. Sit. When we walk him up to the crate, we always have him sit. It's a very important boundary. It's just like the front door or the gateway or the curb, which you see in the other clips on this video. So he's sitting. He waits while we open the door. He's got all this nice cushy bedding in there. Then I say, go. He goes inside. He loves to go in there because in his mind, all these good things happen in there, including a little treat when he goes in. He goes in, he turns around, he gets met with a treat. We take off his leash and we close it. And then we secure the door. You're probably not going to have a crate like this. You'll probably have one where you turn this knob or you just pinch it like that, but this is the way we're doing it here right now. And then when you're going to take him out, so let's say he's been in there for 45 minutes or something, or maybe he's in there overnight and it's morning time, you go treat, because every interaction with the dog is very positive when you're interacting with him in the crate. And for us as new people that he didn't know, it was really important that we weren't just reaching in there from day one to take him out. So all my staff, it's probably 5 different people that he's gotten used to here, including myself, 6 people, always come bearing a gift. You go into his house, this is his house. It's just like you always go to somebody's house and you come bearing a gift. It's the same way. And we've taught him to respect this boundary here. If he does try to run out, all you do is just do this, no. You don't have to slam it in his face or anything, just do that. Here, he does it quite well, and I can even do this exercise where I step back. He gets a treat if he waits, and I'm actually going to step back even farther. See how the leash is longer? And he waits, good. He's really waiting for permission to come out. And this is a very important exercise to do, because if you control all the boundaries in his life, including the boundary to his den, in and out of his den, he's going to feel a lot safer with you because he's going to perceive you as the boss. And you do this without ever being tough and stronger than him or any of that stuff, correcting him and making him afraid of you. That's not how you do it. You have to work smart. And so we control him at all these important points in his life, all these places, and he respects us more because of the way we do things. So he's still waiting here with the door open for me to say, okay, he's going to come out. And see how I kind of step into him. I'm going to close that door. This door is always closed. It's closed when he's in, and it's closed when he's out. Therefore, he can only go in and come out with your permission. Just this one exercise with the crate really adds a lot of structure to his life. And it really will change his relationship with you because you've never done this before. If you do all the things that we're doing here, and it might take a little practice at first to get into your routine, but those things that we're doing here trigger all these great behaviors and all this peanut that's so easy to handle here and good with people and doing so well. You do those same maneuvers at your house, the way you handle a crate, the way you deal with the boundaries, the doorways, the gates, the curbs, the way you introduce to new people, all the other things. And you do those things, and that triggers all this good behavior that he has here. So you will have what I have if you practice these things at your house. And then, of course, we're just going to take him outside and let him have some time out in the yard. Okay. Okay. Sit. So we always have him sit first. We don't just let him pull us through the doorway. We step in first. He waits until we come back. He waits for us to come back to get him, and he doesn't follow me in. Make sure that he sits and waits. This is really important to do, because if you call him to you, you'll teach him to break him out of his break out of a sit stay, and to chase you inside, but also to chase you outside if you're going out. So, okay. And then we're going to show you how we bring him out as well. So I'm going to have him sit. Okay, I'm going to have him sit a little bit closer to the threshold so you can see him. And I'm stepping out, and he's waiting until I come back. And okay, and allow him to walk out with me. And if you're by yourself, you have to close the door yourself. You do a left turn. You're always doing left turns. You see me throughout the videos always turning left. If I want to go right, we do a right turn to go left. It's a great body language thing that really works well in dog training. And now we're taking him for a walk. So we come out the front door. We're going to do the gates, the curbs, show you all the boundaries that we do every day. Sit. We're coming out to go on a walk right now. This is what we do every time. All boundaries are treated this way. He respects these boundaries. They become your boundary, not his. And he gets really used to, nope. See, I was just going to do it again. Of course, he's used to just me coming out once, coming back, and we go. But it's great to mix it up sometimes. So right now, I'm sure he really thinks he's going to go out with me. But I didn't give him the command to come out with me, so he didn't get up. And so we're really teaching the dog several things here. One of them is in practicing this little thing where I go in and out, trying to fake him out. He's got to wait and listen for the command instead of just blindly following my body wherever it goes. Like right now, stepping out again. He's really waiting for the actual release, which is okay to walk out with me. So it's a higher level of thinking for the dog, and he's really waiting for the command rather than just kind of following your body wherever it goes, because you move, he moves, and a lot of dogs would do that. So we're trying to get him to a higher level, and respecting boundaries all over the place. Like this curb now, we're going to cross the street. So we walked up to the curb, sit, make sure that he sits, and here I practice a little sit stay where I walk around in both ways. And if you're breaking up your walk to where every time you're going to cross the street, you practice a little sit stay, takes you maybe 10, 12 seconds, something like that. In this case, see how I'm rewarding him? Eye contact, good, straight down. And then we cross the street. Okay, I actually have the calm zone in the way that I have trained him is from curb to curb, and then once we get to the other side, he gets released and he can have free time again. He can do whatever he wants. But on a slow street like this, and nowadays most streets are pretty slow these days, this one always was, so now like we never see cars. I can walk really slowly if I know there's no traffic coming, and really prevent any pulling. As you can see, just little taps. Sit on the other end. Yep. You have him sit. He must have heard me at some level. So have him sit, and then release him to be free. Go. And now the walk can start. So what we did was we started the walk on the inside of my front door, which is what you would do. You have the leash on him, you have him wait. Instead of having him all excited, oh boy, we're going to go on a walk, and pulling you out the doorway, and everybody's excited, and he gets on the street, he's already overstimulated, and let's say that his breaking point is right here. Well, he starts the walk about here because he's all excited. He sees the first distraction, another dog, a person, somebody walks up to you, boom, over the top, he has an episode because you didn't start the walk on your terms, calmly. And that starts on the inside of your front door. He waits for you to actually come back and get him. He walks through respectfully through that front door. If you have a gate, you do the same thing at the gate. Curbs, the same thing at the curb, and you saw how I did it. And if you're going to cross the street, make sure that you manage him so he's not pulling you across the street exactly the way you saw me doing it. And then on the other side, he sits, he waits, he's released to be free. The walk starts like this. You have a much calmer dog, and you'll see the more you do this, every time you take him for a walk, it'll be a lot calmer. A lot of people have the problem of the walks that happen every day. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3 or 4 walks a day. It keeps the dog in a heightened sense of overstimulation that carries throughout their whole day and into the night, and it's week after month after month of these walks where they get excited and they pull their owner. Tension on the leash, pulling, and staring at distractions, whether it's the neighbor that walks out of their house, whether it's a cat or a dog they see on the street, or who knows, any number of distractions. Tension on the leash plus staring at those distractions over time can create a higher and higher level of overstimulation in the dog, and it can turn into leash aggression. So that's why we don't do any of that. We start the walk. From the second we put on that leash, we're in control, waiting at all the boundaries, and this is what you get when you get out on the street if you do that for a while. Much calmer dog, way less reactive dog. That's what it's all about, being less reactive, more focused, more in the moment with you, calmer, because of the way you handle him. Okay, we're just showing you how Peanut can do really well here out in public. Sit. Because of the circumstances now, we're not allowed to go in the store, but it's still very noisy out here and all kinds of distractions and people with carts walking around and masks on their faces, things that dogs don't usually see. And every day we just practice. We go out in public wherever we can and practice this. And see how I told him to sit. There's no stay because stay is built in. He knows he's waiting to be released. If he does a good sit stay, I'm going to walk back next to him. I have this little reward in my hand, eye contact. See how he's looking up at me? This is exactly how you're going to do it. Straight down, good, reward him. Now we have somebody walking up behind us. You don't see him, you don't have to show him, he'll walk past us, just stay there. And he looked back at me. Good. This is the kind of thing that, somebody walking up from behind would always have, the dog might have an issue with when he's in a sit stay. And also carts coming past and him in his sit stay. He's being very good, non-reactive, good, rewarding him, and I'm going to release him now. Go. Cars going past. We picked a good little spot. Inside is good too, but since we can't do it inside, I tried to pick the busiest place out in the parking lot. But you can see how he's doing. Now, if he's on free time and you're in a place where there's a lot of distractions, you have this recall, the come command that you can always rely on. Come. Good boy. He'll come away from anything. He's got a great recall, which you'll see in other parts of this video as well. So you always have that. If he seems interested, he seems interested in this guy in the cart. Come. See how he'll just break away. I'm going to stay in the camera range so you can see me. Good. You notice I'm calling him back to this target. And it doesn't have to have something in it. Come. Good boy, good. If it doesn't have something in it, he'll always come to it because I probably called him to come to me 1,000 times or so with a treat, and then I phase the food out, and he has no idea at this point why he loves to come to this target hand. But in an emergency, it's always there. No leash, no treat. Just do it exactly like that. Show your target hand. And also you see that when I'm calling him to me, I back away a little bit, because when you back away, it draws the dog to you. So practicing the recall is so much easier if you back away, because standing still isn't half as good, and if you move towards the dog, you can make him run away from you. So you want him to come away from something, it's just that same thing. And I usually do it like this: left hand leash, right hand reward, or not if you don't have something and it's an emergency. Always practice calling him when he's looking away from you. Come. Back away. Good boy. If you don't have a treat, you love him up. You'll get really excited. You know how he likes to jump on you when he's excited, which is not good. But he's doing well. We are in a very exciting spot for Peanut. People everywhere, and if you go to your left, you even see a security man sitting right there. And people everywhere, and we're just showing you his level of focus at this point because we've been practicing a lot with his downstay. Good. When he's doing a downstay out in public or just without the mat, you still do it as if there is a mat there. So you saw how I rewarded him. He waited. I withdrew. He took it off the ground, for example. And all I'm doing is just walking, just doing circles around him. Just a basic downstay where he knows that he's supposed to stay there. And no matter where I go, what I do, he is there in a downstay and waiting for me to release him. And there's a lot of distractions going on around us. As you can see, people walking past, carts and all that kind of stuff. Good. And there's a definite air of stress everywhere we go now as well. And the dogs feel that kind of stuff. So he's doing pretty well. Okay, sit. If you're doing a downstay out in public, you always release him exactly like this. It's okay. He stands up, you have him sit. You're still on the clock until you actually release him from a calm sit stay by patting his chest and saying go. Go. There you go, buddy. If you release him straight out of the downstay to be free, he'll pop up and get excited. And we're really after the calm release and no jumping, of course, because he does that when he's excited, as you know. But you saw what I did. I just did that and he stopped. So you don't want to correct him for jumping. But we'll handle that in another part of this video. Okay. I want to show you a couple of different ways to practice your training, and in conjunction with playing with him, and another way of getting him to settle down quickly once you start using the training, going from super excitedness to on a dime working for you. So we're going to start out like this. He's out of camera range now. I'm going to call him to me. Come! He's going to come running to me. Good boy. I'm going to hook him up on his leash. And it could just be his regular collar. I'm going to hook him up to his collar. I meant to say his collar. So we're just on his regular collar that has his tags, his regular buckle collar. Oh, this is actually a snap collar. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get him kind of excited. I'm going to get him excited and play a little bit. Good boy. I'm going to play. Oh, and he gets really excited when you start doing that and starts trying to jump on you. And we'll deal with the jumping, but right now I want to show you how to deal with his excitedness. So on a dime, you want to say, come. Good. With your right hand, target. Good. I didn't have a chance to grab a treat. He comes to your right hand, he gets paid, your left hand grabs the leash. Sit. Practice a little sit stay. So you see what we're doing is we're really helping his mind get a lot quicker and more under control than before. His excitedness went away in a second. As soon as I had told him to do a command, he was at attention in a sit stay. And the reward in this case is not even food. The reward is to be free again for doing this properly, successfully, is go. Go. And the reward is to play more. Good, more attention. Good boy. Good. More playing. Good boy. Good boy. And then, come. He comes to you, gets a treat. And so I did a sit stay last time. And this time I'm going to do down. And we do a down stay. Because we want this for you. We want you to have this level of training where no matter what's going on, something unexpected happens at your house, your kids are having a great time playing and running all over the place. They're super excited. He's going to feed into that. I can tell he would do that quite easily. You want to be able to just use your commands, and he goes to that place immediately. That's why I've been practicing this, and you should keep practicing this so that he does it with you. Okay, sit. Always release him from a down stay, exactly like this. It's okay to have him sit and then release him from a calm sit stay. Go. See how calm he is when he sits? He almost doesn't want to get up. We definitely want to have you do this. Even if you just did what you saw me doing, do a sit stay, then do a down stay, or do a down stay and then a sit stay, whatever sequence you want to do. But if you're going to do it a few times, always alternate: sit stay, down stay, sit stay, down stay. Just do it differently every time, so that he never knows what you're going to do. And it's very simple, really, and it's just practicing basic obedience. And there's a treat on the ground he wanted to get to. And we've documented here exactly how to do it. It'll really help you. The more you do it, the calmer he'll get, and the more comfortable you'll get with the training. So when the first day he comes home, practice this little exercise. If you have a problem with him jumping, it's important that you not correct him when he jumps, because the only thing that would work with him, the only kind of correction that would work, would be a correction that was so severe, it would be painful, and he would be afraid of you. Anything less than that, it just ends up being play, because he can jump on you, and you can push him down, you can say off, and you can say no, and you can say down, or whatever commands you're using, or whatever. And really, what the impression he's getting is that he jumps on you, you talk more, you with an elevated voice, you touch him more, pushing down, maybe you're doing your knee, who knows what you're doing. You're saying his name, so he jumps and you're saying Peanut, no, Peanut, no. Something like that is happening, because it always is happening. Maybe it's even a squirt bottle to spray him, or a penny can to make a bunch of noise, and you think that might work. It only works temporarily, then they become desensitized to the correction. Really all you're doing is you're giving that behavior attention. Therefore, the best you can hope for is that he does it, you correct, he stops. He does it 10 minutes later or the next day, you correct, he stops. But usually the dog is doing it multiple times a day, and you're just relegated to that pattern for the rest of his life of him doing it, you correct, he stops. So what we're after is that he just doesn't do it anymore. So the way to do that, come, good boy, is that you want to starve out the behavior that you don't like and feed the behavior that you do like. So you'll have to identify what causes him to start jumping, but whenever he comes over to you and he's not jumping, you need to give him attention. Love him up for staying on all 4 feet and not jumping, not climbing on you, whatever it is. If it's play biting, maybe he does a little play biting, it's just treat that as if it was a jumping. No. He starts to jump, it's no. There's no hands, you back away a little bit. It's the opposite of a correction. He's going to stop jumping, maybe right away, or maybe in 5 seconds or so, 10 seconds. For sure he will, because you're not engaging him like you always did. He'll stop jumping, look up at you, and you do this. Hey, we're working for the camera. Here, buddy. Good boy. And then, for you, he's going to jump again. Nope. You do it all over again. He's so smart. He's going to get it very quickly. He never really jumped that much here, but you can see if he gets excited, he'll jump on you. Like when I play with him, he'll start jumping. So I think that he probably jumps on you a bit, but that's how you do it. The correction feeds the behavior and it never goes away. But if you disengage and you don't touch him, they're after your hands as well. Remember that. So when he jumps and you perfectly time say no and your hands go up, and you just say no one time. So it's no. And then if he's like a pogo stick, you're just like this. He'll stop and you say good. He sees the hands coming back when he stops. He'll start exerting self-control, and you'll see that jumping go away, because he wants that attention. He wants the hands to come to him. Just like they do when he jumps, the pushing down, the corrections. But now you're not going to correct, you're going to disengage, let him do his thing until he stops, then he gets the attention. But you might have to go back and forth for a couple of days or so. But he'll get it pretty quickly because it really does work. So that's how I would deal with jumping if you're having that issue at home. If he's doing it with the kids, they're too young to do this most likely. They can try and you can help them over time do it the way I just explained. But it's probably better that you just use your come command. He's getting too rough with the kids across the room or in the yard. Just say, come. He'll come to you. Give him a reward for coming away from the kids. Hook him up on the leash. Put him in his crate with his favorite bone or whatever you're going to do. Keep him with you for a little bit. Just get him out of that situation. So with the kids and jumping or being overexcited, it's best just to call him out of that situation. And you always are. I mean, no matter what he's doing, you're calling him out of a situation. Even if he's in the garbage, like in the trash, in the kitchen, or whatever the situation is. It never goes away if you join in. If you start saying his name, hey, no, peanut, off, no, whatever, leave it, and you go towards it, he'll perceive it as you joining in. You're giving energy and attention to that bad behavior. It's never going to go away, and it probably is going to get worse. So anything like that, call him out of that situation across to you and put him in a sit stay or a down stay. So disengage that, don't get involved in it, and you'll be in a lot more control of the situation if you do it that way instead of going towards him and correcting and trying to pull him away from something.